Thank you for tuning in to the On the Gold podcast. I'm Kevin Hoagland, your host, and joining me today is Mr. Kevin Bell. Hey, Kevin, what's up?
Morning, Kev. How's it going?
It is going good, man. It always is going good. This is,
Nice.
This is a great way to be.
Yes.
Do we have an
Absolutely.
agenda today?
Not particularly. So we
Yeah.
just today's a wing it day.
Yeah, today is a Wing It Day, and that's mainly because this is going to be the last podcast before Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah, it really is. This year has flown by. It really has. I mean, this has been one of the fastest years I've ever gone through. It just feels like
Right.
it started about a week ago, and here we are sneaking up on the new year. And I don't want to talk about too much of what we're going to be doing in the new year. We're going to wait for that one to the New Year's podcast. How's that sound?
Sure.
All
Sounds
right.
good. Well,
So-
it's crazy to think that, by the way, I believe we're nearing 6 months of the podcast.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's been a episode a week, and we have 16 episodes.
So 4 months.
Has it been 4 months? Well, no, that's what it breaks down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be actually episode 17, and then we have we have one that's been recorded that doesn't have an episode number to it, and that one will not be released until the next GPAA magazine is released, because it's a podcast
nice.
it's the podcast that you and I did about prospecting in California.
Huh.
That's it? That's all I get? Really?
Wow. Sorry about that.
Wow, yeah. I don't even understand that response.
So I have to tell you, I went and looked. So I was kibitzing. September 22nd was the first. So it's been
3.5 months.
just shy of 4 months.
Yeah, man,
So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it has gone so fast. And
Yes.
the simple fact, and again, I go back to these guys that like Tim Grimes with the radio show. It just amazes me that not only do they do one episode a week, they actually do 2 episodes a week. They've got their West Coast feed on Wednesdays. They've got their East Coast feed on Sundays. And the grind. I mean, what I love about being able to do these podcasts is that we're able to just 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever it takes to be able to just sit down and especially when we have guests like Chris. Chris has got a pretty busy schedule.
Yeah.
And we've been able to always work it around his schedule, which has just been, really phenomenal. And a lot of the guests that we have coming up, they also have schedules and so on like that. Now, next week, the next Friday, is it next Friday? Yeah, next Friday. We will have, who do we have on next Friday? It's John Watkins, isn't it?
Yes, John Watkins.
Okay, John Watkins is a LDMA GPAA member, a great prospector, and he's also one of the top contributors to the GPAA online mining guide. John's also John's also a great educator. I mean, he's a great prospector, but he's also a really good educator, and he took it upon himself last year, or maybe even 2 years ago, that at his home chapter, which is the Gold Fever of the West Valley, he took it on himself to start teaching GPS classes and mapping classes and so on like that. And he's been a lot of help to a lot of people. And then with his reviews that he does on the online mining guide, John actually is a really good wellspring of information, and I'm going to really enjoy having him on there because with all of that, he's at the core, he's a prospector, and he travels a lot, and he's hit a lot of GPA claims across the Western United States.
Right. Yeah, that was one thing when I was setting up the podcast with him, and he was explaining that he does a lot of traveling and that he's hit a lot of those GPAA claims. So very cool.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Because this is the last episode before Christmas, and we both have a really crazy schedule and everything else like that. I just kind of, I just really want to take a minute and just talk about the just shy of 4 months and what's gone on with the On the Gold podcast since the very first podcast, which, I went back and listened to it the other day, and man, was it rough. And I'm not going to say that we have found that perfect line yet, but I think we're getting very, very close. And we've had some great guests, and especially like having Chris Ralph on, and the conversations that we've had with Chris. It's kind of set the tone for what the On the Gold podcast is what I envisioned it from the very beginning, which is going to be educational and being able to help people understand and go out there and become better prospectors and miners. It was the whole idea behind Gold Trails was helping people become better miners. And that's exactly where we're going to continue to go with the podcast. So, there's been some craziness. There's been some things. And I'll tell you, I think, and I don't know what your feeling is about this, but the whole 5 and 5, the concept will stay around. But I tell you what, I think I'm just going to drop that name if you don't have a problem with that, because because the 5 and 5, I mean, it was a cute little catchy name and so on like that. But you know what? Quite frankly, sitting here trying to do 5 questions in 5 minutes is to me almost hokey. It's never happened. It's never worked right. So I just kind of think the 5 on 5 will live on, but it's not going to be called 5 and 5. I just don't see the need in continuing on with something like that. This is about helping you become a better miner, not some hokey ass name that comes along with it. So, if you don't have a problem
and the problem
with it,
is, if we really answered the questions in 5 minutes, we wouldn't really be providing much training.
Exactly, and that's my biggest problem with it. That is my absolutely biggest problem is that when you turn the mic on me and you did the 5 on 5 on metal detecting, and by the time I got done with Threshold, we were 4 minutes and 45 seconds into it, and I just laughed. I don't want to put a time limit on this, I look at podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'll tell you what, there's some great podcasts that are 15 minutes long. And then the next podcast that was done by the same exact guy could be 2 hours long. It's all about the content. As long as we're bringing great content, then that's really all that matters. And going into next year, and like I said, we're not going to talk about that too much until the beginning of the year.
Right.
The things that I will say right now is that 2020 is going to be the year of the prospector, and it's going to have some other things included into it. It's going to be about prospecting, but there's going to be some other things that we kick into it. So 5 on 5 is gone.
Yep.
Okay. So instead of it being 5 on 5, it's now going to be 10-minute Monday.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm just kidding.
And 20-minute Thursday.
Yeah. 20-minute Thursday. There we go.
Don't
forget Taco Tuesday.
Right.
Okay, so with that said, I do want to say something, and I keep going back and I look at the stats, and I've been looking at the number of listens, and I've been looking at the number of subscribers, and I have to say this. No, it's not I don't have to say it. I want to say this. Thank you to everybody that's been listening. Everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and everybody that's been listening, and the feedback that I think both Kevin and I have been getting has been exceptionally great. There was a little bit of feedback that I will tell, and I'm not going to say who it was that sent it, but I will tell you what you told me to do is physically impossible. Yeah, it just doesn't work out that way.
So you mean you can't leap tall buildings in a single bound?
Nah, it was a little bit closer to home than that. The funny thing is I've known the guy for over 30 years, and he is a very, very good friend, and he just felt like he had to give a negative comment just to keep me grounded. And
sure.
I was a little shocked, but yeah, it is what it is. So thank you. I look at the stats. I see everything that's going on. I see the number of listens, and I see the number of subscribers. And I've got to tell you, I've been comparing these to some of the other podcasts that are not necessarily in our genre. They're not in our niche. They're from different things. And I look at some of the newer podcasts that have been out there for now, like us, 4 months. And I will tell you that we're growing. We're growing really, really fast. And I truly appreciate it. That means we're doing something right. Either that or we're doing everything wrong and you guys just listen for the entertainment value. But
right.
that's,
could be that.
Yeah, we simply know that that's not true because Chris Ralph, boy, if you haven't learned something from the podcast that we've had with Chris and some of these upcoming podcasts as we go through there, is if you're not learning things from there, I need to know about it, and I want to know about it quickly to make sure that we're on the right track and that we are helping you learn things and that we're heading in that right direction. So thank you to everybody that has subscribed and everybody that listens. The listening numbers are phenomenal. The subscription numbers have been really kind of shocking. I didn't expect this thing to grow that fast. Yeah. Kevin, you got,
But by the same token, when we reach out to those subscribers, tell your other miner, your mining people in your mining community to tune in, because we really like not only the listens, but to have the feedback. That's the most important,
right?
Because it's really your show and you drive what we do. We hope that becomes more important, especially next year.
Right. And I think one of the most popular podcasts is the one that was the long answers to short questions. And it was a long podcast. And I went down a couple of rabbit holes, like BLM, going through every step of being able to use the BLM LR2000 to get all the way down to a 20 acre plot, and how to use other software programs and different things like this. That has been one of the most listened to podcasts. And I've had more and more comments about, wow, I didn't know that I could do this or do that. Thank you very much. And that was based on a listener question. So we want more of your questions. We definitely want more of your questions. And I know that you have now got the new email addresses set up.
Yes, I actually went through, like I said, I'm waiting for verification. So, what I would ask is that people wait till the first of the year just to make sure. But those are tentatively available now.
Okay, tentatively available now, but probably don't start pushing out things until the first of the year. So grab a pencil and paper. Unless you're driving, then don't. You'll listen to this again. Kevin, what are the new email addresses?
Okay, so their first one is K Hoagland at prospectingedu.com.
K Hoagland? I thought we shortened it.
No, we started out with the initials, and then you just said, why don't we just do our last name? So what I'll do is I'll have them do both, so they can use either one. So you can either use K Hoagland at prospectingedu.com or KH at prospectingedu.com.
You know what? Let's just go with KH, if you don't mind. Let's just keep it really, really simple. Hoagland is not a hard name, but you'd be shocked at how many people actually do misspell it. So KH at prospectingedu.com.
Right.
And what's yours?
And I will be KB at prospectingedu.com. So
I wonder how many people have figured out by just listening to that there's something else coming just by the name.
We would hope.
I would hope so too. We're not going to let that cat out of the bag, but buckle up, folks, because as I said, 2020 is the year of the Prospector, and it's going to be really focused around education. It's going to be focused around the education that you asked for. And Kevin and I have put together a rather significant group of people that are, I'm not going to say at the beck and call, but within just a moment's notice, if there's something that we can't answer or something that we can't really cover in the detail that we would like to have it covered, we've got people to reach out to and say, hey, we need your help to answer this question. And they're jumping on board like crazy. So,
yep.
All right. What else? I don't want to make this one go real long because, everybody's out there. I was
going to say it. I think we've covered really everything.
Yeah, I believe so. So, most importantly, I want everybody to have a very, very safe and happy holiday. Please enjoy your time with your family, with your friends.
Yep.
I gave Kevin a killer steak recipe that he's having on Christmas Day. I hope that you follow that recipe.
Oh, yes. Yeah. In fact, I just bought the ingredients yesterday just to make sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's no turning back now.
No, you're committed on that one. Let me know how those turned out, because if they turn out screwy, it's not my fault. It's yours because you didn't follow one of my instructions.
Oh sure. Yeah. Yeah. Blame it on the newbie. That's what I say.
Exactly.
That's in the mining industry too. Blame it on the newbie.
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
It's just, but it is the way that it is. All right, folks. So a whole lot of stuff coming up in 2020. Next week, we'll have John Watkins as our guest, and you'll get to hear a whole lot of questions asked of John. If you have any questions, please fill an email. And right now it's kbell@totalexchange.com or khoagland@goldprospectors.org. But after the first of the year, you'll be able to use KH and KB at prospectingedu.com. Be safe, have fun, go out. Oh, you know what, Kevin? There is one thing.
What's that?
When we first started Gold Trails, we had a song written, and it was written by actually one of the guys that used to work for the GPAA that was in a band. And it's Nate and Gene, and they just did what we called the Gold Trails demo idea. And it became the theme song as soon as we heard it the very first time. Gene had spent a few minutes talking to me about things, and I said, when I go out in some of these old areas, I put myself back into the 1800s. I put myself out there with the old timers and different things like that. And Nate and Gene, they took some of those things that I was talking about, and in one take, they created what became the Gold Trails theme song, which I'm also using as the On the Gold theme song. But people have asked me, I've never heard the entire song. So I'll tell you what, enjoy your Christmas, have fun, be with family, be with friends, take care of yourself, go prospecting if you have the chance. I'm going out Christmas Day like I always do. And you know what? We're just going to take you out with the Gold Trails theme. Enjoy. We'll talk to you next week.
Searching for gold dust in the valley of bloodlust, under the sun misunderstood. I'm making my way down, this valley's a ghost town. I'm gonna strike it rich with sin. With a dead man, I think it's time to scratch the itch.